the people who don't know you that well, they'll probably think you're actually, um, rather than an INFJ, as a feeler, an NF, you come across more as an NT, which is an intuitive thinker, because you'll hide those more. Um, I don't want to use the word feminine because that's those aspects of yourself which are not as traditionally in the masculine in the Western world. I think that's the best way to put it. And another aspect which is similar to the feeling and the caring aspect of INFJ as a male is that, like that, there's also, and this ties in with both male and female, I think, is that because INFJs think almost, rather than thinking in an extremely linear way, they'll use fuzzy logic. So they won't use logic. Their introverted thinking and their introverted intuition, like I said, work together really well and really strongly. So their thinking style tends to be less mechanical and more mystical. Now, this is one of the things that always gets thrown at the INFJs, that they're like the mystic, or they're the hermit who has the fount of all wisdom and all knowledge, and they can see into your soul. And for me personally, that's I lean very strongly towards the mystical aspects of you know, wisdom traditions, religious traditions, philosophical traditions. Like, I'll throw out there the quintessential INFJ, thinker, probably. People say he was an INFJ, I don't know if it is the case, but Carl Jung, the whole idea about the guy who's this is all based on, even though he's a very clever man, doctor in psychology, psychiatrist, his writings just have that really mystical flavour to them, which is, me personally, I think this is an INFJ thing, but I just can't get enough of that. I love that. The danger of that, though, is that mystical bent that we have can sometimes, if you take it too far, you can get pegged in the new agey group. So the people who are really out there, and not that all people in new age are crazy or anything like that, they're not, but the public perception of people in those circles is that they're very flaky. And when you just start being an INFJ, like your normal INFJ self, and being mystical, they'll automatically peg you and put you in that group. And that's probably not the case, that you're not interested or not involved in new age at all. It's just that the processes you use, the way that you articulate them, probably as I'm doing right now, will come across as being have a kind of new agey vibe to them, because they're dealing with deep things. They're dealing with things that are not that you're dealing with paradoxes, these kind of things. You think metaphorically, you speak metaphorically, and people think you're in that camp of new age alternative spirituality, and that's not the case for me at all. I'm not involved in new age, and I'm a spiritual, and I have religious convictions also, but I don't like to use the word religious. I have spiritual convictions. Just leave it there. But I'm always interested to see that that comparison being made by others, or that link being made when they're around an INFJ and speaking to them. So to sum it up, I would say that as a male INFJ, as a male, 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 would say if I could sum it up in one line, is that I've always felt like the proverbial square peg try to fit into the round hole. You know, try like they're different shapes, but your society, life, you know, family, whatever tries to push you into that round hole, and you're not that shape. And because INFJs are allegedly so rare, we are naturally going to feel that way. You know, by definition, if something's less common, it is going to be less understood because there's not as many of that specific population to have a consensus, to have an influence, to be, you know, understood by others. And that's hard. That is hard. I think for not just INFJ but all NFs, that probably applies to them too. And like going back to some things, it's like that can lead to loneliness and isolation, psychologically, not in a social sense. You know, you'll probably have lots of friends and lots of family, but psychologically, you'll very rarely find a person who you click with and who gets you. And when that happens, it's really unique and it's really cool. It's really special. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it makes you realise there's other people out there like you. And that's why I love YouTube, and watching you guys, other NFs or other INFJs speak on YouTube. It's like, that's okay. There's others out there like me. I'm not the only one, you know. In his room meditating. No, I don't meditate. But coming back again, just before I finish, I got this last little bit I'd like to finish with, is that for me, the introverted intuition makes up a big part of what it means to be an NFJ for me, and it allows me to see things that others don't see and perceive other things that other people don't perceive. And the one thing, before I finish, I'll just leave this last example. Leave with this one last example, is that, or finish. Sorry, I'm not going anywhere. Is that my introverted intuition has always allowed me the ability to read other people really well, to read them to the point where if I look them in the eye, look them face to face, when I look a person in the eyes, I feel like I can see inside them. I can see what's going on inside them. I can see what they're thinking. I can feel what they're feeling. It's like I'm reading them, and I've always felt bad because that's not true. I haven't felt bad because this has been the problem. The problem has been that because I've always been like that and always had that ability, I just assumed that other people had the same ability or they were the same. So that they could read me just as easily as I could read them. And that has led me, people sometimes saying to me that I'm too reserved, I'm too private, I'm not expressive enough. But the thing is, it's not that I'm trying to be those things, it's just that I don't feel like I need to be those things because I assume that they can read me just as well as I can read them. So I don't necessarily need to be all those things. I don't need to be expressive. I don't need to tell people everything I'm thinking or feeling because I assume they know me the same way that I know them. And the fact is, they don't at all. They don't. And that has been a key thing for me to learn, is that people can't read your mail the same way that you can read theirs if you're an INFJ. And it's helped me to learn that, and also at the same time, like I was saying, it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable when I look people. I find it hard to look people in the eye, and I think that I sometimes wonder why I give off an impression that I'm not interested in them, or that I'm being awkward because I don't look them straight in the eye when I'm speaking to them, like most people do. It's just that I it's a really intense thing for me to look a person straight in the eyes, because I'm picking things up off them. Oh, that sounds so new age. But I'm reading them, and I'm getting things from them that they're probably not getting from me, and I feel like sometimes I'm invading their privacy, and you feel uncomfortable because you're doing that, and you feel that they know that you're invading their privacy because you think they are doing the same thing to you. So I tend to not look at people in the eye for too long, and people have picked up on that and told me, like, yeah, you're always looking away, and are you bored and stuff? And I'm like, no, it's just that. Then I'll maybe say that and explain to them why it is, and they're like, oh, that's weird. Which is, I'm sure that's not the first. I'm not the other only INFJ out there to hear that every once in a while. But yeah, that's just my experience of being a male INFJ, and I've also got here talking a lot drains me, which you can probably tell through this video that I probably spoke too long, for first off, but secondly, it's tiring for me to speak this long constantly. It's not normal. I'm more of like a bounce off other people kind of guy. I say something, you say something, then but to just keep speaking for this length of time straight, it's hard, it's tiring. But yeah, that's my experience of being a male INFJ, and it's been a blast sharing this with you guys. And if you'd like to leave some comments in the comment section, what you think, whether this resonates with you, whether you have similar experiences, how your experiences differ from mine's, and yeah, see what you say, and catch you soon. Bye.